I made one video last week, and inadvertently I went on to use certain words which some students or some other viewers also they have expressed their curiosity. Why did I use those words? Was it planned? Like I said, microeconomic and macroeconomic. But I think if any mature person wants to speak something on economy, these terms are very natural to come out. So there was no planning to drop deliberately some words, but it naturally came out. The idea was that sometimes what happens that our macroeconomic parameters are very strong. Then one should not make so much complaint about some micro problems. Similarly, sometimes our microeconomic fundamentals are very strong. And then it may happen simultaneously that some of the macroeconomic parameters may be weak. So again, we should not make so much complaint about some macroeconomic, because some of the macroeconomic problems might have been exported by other countries, because many of the macroeconomic problems are imported. For example, inflation is a macroeconomic parameter. Like employment is a macroeconomic parameter. Like current account deficit is a macroeconomic parameter. Like fiscal deficit is a macroeconomic parameter. Like tax to GDP ratio is a macroeconomic parameter. Like interest rate is a macroeconomic parameter. These are macroeconomic parameter. For example, current account deficit, right? It depends on how much a country exports and imports. So naturally, if its exports exceed, if its imports exceed export, then of course it's landing into a trade deficit. And the trade deficit will reflect through what we call current account deficit. So what happens, many of the countries of the world, rather majority of the countries of the world, are oil importing countries. And if oil producing proceeding economies are in some domestic or external crises, then the cost of oil production may go up, and that make the import of some countries, means basically the countries which are importing or depending on the imports of oil, their oil import bill can go very high, maybe double also. So if a country is importing oil at a higher rate than what earlier it was, then it means that you are importing not only oil, but you are also importing inflation. So then this inflation is not inherent in your economy, your domestic economy, but it's coming from outside. So this is how majority of the macroeconomic problems might be related with some external economic factor. And since in this era of globalization, all economies are interdependent, interconnected, interrelated, that's why a problem, a macroeconomic problem of one country with which our country, for example, India, has deeper import and export relation. So this is how, by importing or by exporting both, we can be contaminated with their inflation. So if there is a financial crisis in America, that may contaminate the Indian financial crisis also. This is how sometime or most of the time macroeconomic crises are imported. It is not inherent in our economy. Now, if you come to, this is one macroeconomic problem, inflation. Employment also, if your export is not picking up, then you might not generate employment. So how is it related with foreign countries? If the foreign countries have made our exports difficult, then we are going to lose the jobs. So employment generation also from time to time depends on the economic conditions of other countries. They may have adopted some new technologies, and these new technologies, including AI, may have forced them to not to import from India. So in that case, we will, for example, we could not export our software because of massive development in artificial intelligence and software programming. Based on artificial intelligence, our software engineers started losing their jobs. So this loss of job in India is being caused because of automation and artificial intelligence being used rapidly in United States. So employment generation also in one country critically depends on the economic conditions in another country. So employment is another macroeconomic parameter. Simply interest rate in your country. For example, for last 1 year, RBI of India has been keeping the interest rate, the lead interest rate, repo and reverse repo, at very high. Why? Because when Federal Reserve Bank of America is doing the same thing, then we also need to do it. So if our central bank increases the interest rate, then it's going to reduce the credit supply in our market, and that the loan will become costlier, and it will hamper the growth also. So when Indian growth goes down by 0.5%, so it's mainly because of the policies, monetary policies adopted by Federal Bank of America. What I'm trying to say, that the macroeconomic parameters of one country are dependent or related with the macroeconomic situations of other countries, and they affect us decisively, especially those countries with which we have rapid and intense trade in import and export. So that is why when some problems are coming into our economy from outside, then we must be aware that this is not the problem of, this is not the inherent and intrinsic and organic problem of our fundamentals of economy. It's coming from outside. Yes, we of course we are expected to manage it well, but sometimes the things are unmanageable. We cannot force America to keep its interest rate according to our interest. No, they will do it according to their interest only. We have to try hard. But similarly, technological disruption, if technologies are coming in a manner that they are going to replace the humans. So what Joseph Schumpeter has said, disruptive technologies. So when disruptive technologies are introduced, then the current mode of production is bound to undergo some massive changes. It will cause job losses. Some people have become mad about jobless growth, without knowing the science of creation of job. If somebody just keep on crapping without knowing, the jobless growth is not a new phenomena. Whenever new technology comes into operation, the existing jobs are replaced, or first of all they are finished, and it takes time to create the new jobs. It has happened, it has been happening since time immemorial, since the man started using the stone pashana. So when Pashana technology was replaced by Neolithic technology, there was job loss. So people who were accustomed to, were master of using the stones only, they were all of a sudden they found that they have become inferior to the people who are using Neolithic weapons. It has been going on and on. So when people were producing their things in household system, and when they faced competition from Birmingham and Manchester, machine made product, then there was massive deindustrialization in India. Whenever a new technology comes into existence, the current or existing mode of production is bound to change, and the jobs, the employments will be lost. So what has happened in recent past, the technology has fast changed. Automation has become so fast that the current jobs are going to be fast lost. So we can't say it's simply job loss. The whole world economy is undergoing massive technological transformation. So whenever such technological transformations take place, right, the existing jobs are threatened. Now it doesn't mean that the new jobs are not coming into existence. Existing jobs start going. So when existing jobs start go, then there is proportionately, yeah, maybe more number of new jobs are coming. For example, had we ever imagined that in India itself, there would be 3.5 crore people getting their jobs under gig economy? Had we ever imagined? Could we have ever imagined that 3.5 crore people at present by 2030 this number is going to be 10 crore? So by 2030, 10 crore Indian workforce will be placed into gig economy. Could we ever have invented gig economy? This isn't altogether. So when the old jobs go, the new jobs certainly come. It may take time. So please, some people start rubbishing जॉबलेस ग्रोथ. प्लीज़ बकवास मत करो. जॉबलेस ग्रोथ तुम्हारा इलिटरेसी है. प्लीज़ अपनी इलिटरेसी को छुपा के रखो. करेक्ट. डोंट स्टार्ट swallowing the vomits of the newspaper editorials. Don't start leaking the vomits or venoms of the editorials. Try to understand. You may be wiser than the rubbish editor whom you are trying to learn and emulate. Just exercise as much as you can with the facts. Collect the facts. First, let your mind be filled with all the fundamental facts. Then start subscribing to the thoughts of others so that you can make out what you should take and what you should leave. Don't simply start licking the venoms spread by the propagandist writers or maybe teachers also. Similarly, sometimes your microeconomic parameters may be very strong, like demand and supply. If production is taking place, it's going to strengthen supply. If people are capable of purchasing the things which have been, or the goods or services which have been produced, it means that demand is also there. So if demand is strong, if supply is strong, right, that means microeconomic parameters are strong. Even if there is an imported inflation or imported unemployment, never ever get worried. So please make sure before some stupids, idiots or illiterates start vomiting the newspaper headlines upon you, please be patient, understand, focus on what are the fundamentals. डिमांड कैसा है, सप्लाई कैसा है, प्रोडक्शन कैसा है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कैसा बन. अगर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्ट्रॉन्ग हो रहा है तो सप्लाई स्ट्रॉन्ग होने वाली है, राइट. अगर लोन्स मिल रहे हैं लोगों को, इसका मतलब परचेजिंग पावर बढ़ रही है. इसका मतलब लोगों के पास पैसा है टू स्टार्ट द न्यू बिजनेसेस. So if your banking system is increasing, if 50 crore people have got the accounts under Jan Dhan Yojana, if expressways, highways, industrial corridors and ports are being constructed, it means that demand and supply are becoming day by day stronger and stronger. It means microeconomic parameters are stronger. Even if there is a temporary or seasonal inflation, it should not bother you. So focus on the fundamentals. जब कोई क्राइसिस आते हैं तो क्या देखते हैं, फंडामेंटल्स स्ट्रॉन्ग है या नहीं है. अगर फंडामेंटल्स वीक है, then it's a matter of concern, then it's a matter of worries. But just because some macroeconomic parameters have come into crisis because of some international factors or maybe some domestic factors also, there is nothing to worry. So make sure that there is a proportionate balance between the macroeconomic stabilizing parameters and microeconomic stabilizing parameters. If they proportionately are good, then the overall image of the economy is good, right? Similarly, the growth rate should be higher. If Indian economy grows below 5%, that's a problem. But if it is growing above 5%, that's the greatest parameter and indication that economy is doing good. But sometime some people may say that no, we need to grow at 8%. Even if economy grows at 8%, but inflation is 9% or 10%, it's of no use. So growth alone is not important. ग्रोथ के साथ साथ इन्फ्लेशन देखना ज़रूरी है. अगर ग्रोथ 7% है तो इन्फ्लेशन 5% और उससे नीचे होना चाहिए. अगर ये है, नथिंग टू वरी. अगर तुम्हारा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व बढ़ रहा है $300 बिलियन से $600 बिलियन हो रहा है, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक पैरामीटर इज स्ट्रांग, देयर इज नथिंग टू वरी. Jobless growth, etc. These are all small problems, temporary and seasonal problems. Don't allow yourself to be pervaded by the seasonal challenges. Seasonal challenges, yeah, specific challenges. No, we don't have that luxury. India has very recently come out of a backward economy to on the path to a rapidly growing economy. We cannot forget completely our past. We were just 2 decades back, we were extremely poor country, right? And now if you're going, and also the growth rate is important with the base. If the base is $2 trillion, then growing at 6% may be easy. But if your base has become $4 trillion, then growing or maintaining the growth at the same 6% is very difficult, right? Because running with a weight of 100 kg is one thing, and running with the weight of 200 kg, is it the same thing? No, it's different. If you have added 100 kg additional weight on yourself, so it's going to reduce your speed. But if you are still running at the same pace, it means that your capacity has been enhanced. Indian economy just 5 years back, it was only $2 trillion. Now it has doubled in 5 years. Now it's almost touching $4 trillion. It was much easier to grow at 5% with a very small weight of, or a very you can say lighter weight of $2 trillion. So when Indian economy was at a lighter weight $2 trillion, it was ideal to grow at 6%. But to maintain the same growth rate by doubling your weight or capacity or mass, it's astonishing. A $4 trillion economy daring to grow at 6% and above, it's going to be every 6.5%. It's astonishing. We did not wait for the opinion of some Kaushik Basu or Raghuram Rajan or all kinds of irrelevant economists for Indian economic scenario to be taught by them or to be enlightened by them. It's so simple. अगर मैं 100 किलो वेट के साथ 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर दौड़ रहा था, और अगर मैं 200 किलोग्राम के वेट के साथ भी अगर 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर स्पीड से दौड़ रहा हूँ, दिस इज़ मिरेकल. सो वी मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द फंडामेंटल्स. Fundamentals. Right? Indian economy has the capacity to grow at 6% even with $8 trillion economy. But that will require right leadership, nothing but right leadership. So when these fundamentals are positive, if anybody wants to terrorize you by bringing one micro fact to depict the overall economy, the macro economy, into black or red, you need to be alerted, must be alerted. Please tell them that these fundamentals are doing so good. Please don't befool us. Don't befool us, please. That was the meaning of micro and macro proportional relation. So whenever somebody tries to give any picture of economy, you must take a pause and think, what are the micro and macro parameters? Okay, there are some more micro and macro parameters. I will discuss about them in some later video. And now I think I should be continuing, because now it's going to become gradually a series, because one thing I say and it create the space for explanation in the next thing. So I'll be forced to make some more videos. Thank you.